Okay, this is a super fast video on simplifying numerical expressions. So I'm sure you've seen all of this content before. It's just your basic integers and fractions. So let's say we had this, -3 plus -2 minus 5. So my advice to you when you're solving an expression like this would be any double signs that you see, like a positive and a negative in a row, just use your little rules. If the signs are the same, then you're going to add. So if you have 2 positives or 2 negatives, they're going to become addition. And if the signs are different, then you're going to subtract. So here we have a positive and a negative, so we know we're going to subtract. So this expression is going to be -3 minus 2 minus 5. So that might be helpful for you. And then we're going to do -3, take away 2, take away 5. So all of those numbers are actually negative. So what we're going to end up with is a really big negative number. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to end up with a -10. So simplifying numerical expressions, it's just adding and subtracting numbers. And we could have to multiply them too. So here I've indicated multiplication just by having things in brackets. So here we have -3 times 4. So we just multiply the numbers as usual. 3 times 4 is 12. And then since we have a negative number and a positive number, I know that a negative times a positive is going to give me a negative number. And then, fractions. So if you're going to solve fraction questions, you need to know how to add and multiply and subtract and divide. So if we're going to add or subtract fractions, then we want to have a common denominator. So here we have a 2 and here we have an 8. They're not the same. So we have to figure out how we can make them the same. So the easiest way I can think of is by multiplying this first fraction by 4. And you can make denominators the same by multiplying an entire fraction by whatever you want, or dividing it. So in this case, I've chosen to multiply a half by 4, making it now 4/8, which is the same as a half. But it's easier for me to add these fractions now. So now that they have a common denominator, I just add their numerators. So 4 plus 3 is 7, and the denominator is 8. And then if I'm going to multiply fractions, I simply multiply straight across. So I just multiply their numerators, 8, and I multiply their denominators, 15. And very last, sorry for the super short video, but the very last thing is when you're dividing fractions, just a reminder on how to do that. So if you have 2/3, say, divided by 4/5, in order to divide these fractions, we are going to, just zoomed in here, we're going to actually switch to multiplication as our operation. So we're going to keep the 2/3 the same. We're going to change our division to multiplication, and then we're going to take the reciprocal of our second fraction, which is going to be 5/4. So that's how we divide fractions. And then we're just going to follow our rules for multiplying. We're just going to multiply straight across. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 4 is 12. So our answer is 10/12, and then we should always reduce your fractions to lowest terms. So I notice I can divide that by 2, so it becomes 5/6 as my final answer.